All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring a seriously fascinating collision between the ultimate biohacking ambition and, well, the totally unpredictable nature of human biology. It's a story that feels straight out of a sci-fi movie, but it is unfolding right now, in real time. We're talking about the extreme quest for immortality, the absolute limits of modern data, and a biological plot twist that literally nobody saw coming. Just last week, a really jarring post popped up online that perfectly sets the stage for this massive medical curveball. Quote, "I have an autoimmune disease. My stomach is eating itself." I mean, wow. It's visceral, it's alarming, and it completely comes out of left field when you consider who actually wrote it. It's not just some random medical update. It's this stunning confession of profound biological vulnerability from a guy who has built his entire modern life around, eliminating vulnerability altogether.
So, this confession comes from Bryan Johnson. Now, you might know him as the 48-year-old tech millionaire who has dedicated his vast resources to one singular absolute obsession, completely reversing his age. He's basically turned his entire existence, his immense wealth, and his daily routine into this extreme, relentless science experiment to pause and fundamentally rewind the aging process. Every meal, every breath, every single hour of sleep is precisely calibrated for optimal youth.
And his stated goal isn't just to, live a little bit longer or just stay healthy into his senior years. No, his target is highly specific and frankly kind of staggering. He intends to live to exactly 160. That single number completely shatters all currently known limits of human existence. He's treating the human lifespan not as some fixed biological rule that we all just have to accept, but rather as a technological hurdle that's just waiting to be overcome by science and, well, massive funding. To put that into perspective, that means he is planning to survive all the way to the year 2140. Just let the sheer scale of that ambition sink in for a second. To reach 2140 means outliving generations, predicting the completely unpredictable, and assuming that human biology can just be perfectly controlled like lines of software code. He's aiming for a future that absolutely none of us will see, banking entirely on the idea that mortality is basically just an engineering problem.
But here is the ultimate irony of the whole situation. On one hand, he is quite literally the most measured human on the planet. We're talking daily blood tests, we're talking about every single organ being meticulously tracked, analyzed, and optimized to the max. But on the other hand, a massive hidden betrayal. Because despite having essentially infinite data, this disease still hid from him for years. It was lurking right there in the shadows, completely undetected by the most sophisticated monitoring system ever applied to a single human body. So despite all those futuristic dashboards, the constant tracking, and the endless stream of biological data, a major flaw was happening quietly at the microscopic level. It really just goes to show, you can measure everything on the outside, you can track every metric known to modern medicine, but biology, it can still harbor these deeply hidden secrets that effortlessly evade our absolute best technology. The human body is just incredibly complex, and sometimes it absolutely plays by its own rules.
Which brings us to his actual diagnosis: autoimmune gastritis. Now, this is a primal, uncontrollable condition where his own immune system, the very defense mechanism that is supposed to protect his body from harm, mistakenly starts attacking his own stomach lining. It is literally an internal rebellion. And no amount of wealth, optimization, or daily testing was able to prevent it. The exact system meant to keep him alive to 160 just up and turned against him.
So what's actually happening inside his body is his step-by-step cellular destruction. First, the immune system launches an unprovoked attack. Second, it starts destroying the highly specific cells in the stomach that make acid. And third, and this is the real kicker, as a direct biological result, his body loses the ability to absorb vital nutrients, specifically vitamin B12 and iron. The fundamental machinery of his digestion is just breaking down from the inside out, completely bypassing all of those external safeguards. And here is the really crucial takeaway from all of this. You can be a 48-year-old tech millionaire, you can have every financial resource in the world at your fingertips, and you can track every organ with laser precision. But when your immune system starts attacking your stomach lining and blocks the absorption of B12 and iron, there is no cure. Seriously, let that sink in. For all the intense biohacking, for all the millions of dollars spent fighting death, zero cure exists for this specific cellular betrayal. Sometimes biology simply wins.
This entire situation highlights an incredible, almost poetic irony. It draws this fascinating parallel between his extreme quest for calculated longevity and something as remarkably simple as, well, playing a video game. It forces us to ask a really interesting philosophical question about what actually happens when you get exactly what you want, when you attempt to completely eliminate all risk from the human equation.
Think about it. Having an invincible, unlimited health mode in a video game sounds pretty awesome at first, right? But honestly, it actually ruins the experience almost immediately. When you turn on unlimited health, the game gets super boring within about 10 minutes. Because without vulnerability, without stakes, without the very real threat of an ending, the experience completely loses its meaning. It is just endlessly fascinating that a guy trying so incredibly hard to unlock real-life unlimited health mode is suddenly and jarringly confronted with an incurable vulnerability.
So, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on. Does the fragile, temporary nature of our biology actually give life its meaning? Maybe forever was never the point. It's a deeply powerful question to consider, especially as technology and wealth just keep pushing the boundaries of what we previously thought was humanly possible. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you with a fresh perspective on the beautiful, totally undeniable fragility of the human experience.